Hey, how's it going? How we doing? How's it going? Okay, anyway, so let's let's figure this out. Oh, what should we, here we go. What's a burning question here? I know. I know. Okay. Okay, so I said I'm just trying to decide what I feel like what I feel like asking here. I said can you please tell me what is going on with GTA 6 since everyone can't seem to wait for this game. Here we go. Oh jeez. It's backing y'all up on the height. Alright. Let's hear it.
Totally. GTA 6 is basically the most anticipated game on the planet right now, so it makes sense that everyone's losing their minds over it. Here's what's going on with GTA 6 and why the hype is so intense. What we officially know about GTA 6. 1. It's real, and Rockstar announced it. Rockstar officially revealed Grand Theft Auto for 6 with a trailer confirming the game is in development and coming. 2. It's set in a modern Vice City style location. The game is taking players back to a version of Vice City, Miami inspired, but in a modern era. From what's been shown, the map looks huge and more alive than anything they've done before. 3. There are 2 main characters, and one is Lucia. For the first time in a GTA main story, one of the lead protagonists is a woman, Lucia. The story vibe looks like a crime duo, Bonnie and Clyde-ish.
Oh,
So
yeah,
why
that's
is
true.
everyone so impatient? GTA 5 is ancient in the game. GTA 5 came out in 2013. Yes, seriously. It's been updated non-stop, but people want the next big leap. Rockstar takes forever, but delivers. Rockstar games take a long time because they're insanely detailed. People expect GTA 6 to be huge map, deeper story, smarter NPCs, better physics, better police wanted system, insane realism plus chaos. Basically, people aren't expecting a new game. They're expecting the next generation benchmark. GTA Online kept the wait alive. GTA Online stayed popular for over a decade, so the community never disappeared. It just grew more restless. Why GTA 6 is such a big deal culturally.
Good point.
GTA isn't just a game series anymore. It's like an event. When GTA drops, it affects Twitch, YouTube trends, meme culture, gaming industry sales. What other games released near it, they avoided. What open world games compete with. It's basically the gaming equivalent of a blockbuster movie release, except bigger. What people are arguing about online right now. Most of the noise is about release date anxiety. People are constantly speculating when it's coming, and every small rumor makes waves. Graphics and realism expectations. The trailer looked crazy good, so now everyone expects it to change.
No, it
gaming.
didn't.
Will it live up to the hype? Some people think no game can meet the expectations anymore, but Rockstar has a history of proving people wrong. What you can realistically expect when it launches. When it drops, expect massive open-world, story-heavy single-player. Some version of GTA Online 2.0, chaos, memes, and absolute internet overload. If you want, I can also break down what's confirmed versus rumored, what the big trailer details imply, why GTA 6 is taking so long compared to other studios.
So, I said, what do you mean the trailer looked good? We got basically no gameplay, and the stuff that we got was a bunch of cutscenes pieced together of information we sort of already knew about the game. We'll see what it says about that. Oh snap! Immediately. Oh snap. Oh man. Alright. We're laying the smack down. Is this too loud for y'all to hear the... Alright.
You're not wrong at all. And honestly, I should have phrased that better. When people say the trailer looked good, they usually mean the presentation looked expensive and polished. Not that we got a clean, honest, here's raw gameplay demo.
Is that what they
Because,
mean,
yeah,
though?
It was mostly a cinematic reveal trailer, and Rockstar trailers are always edited to feel like a movie. That said, here's what I meant specifically, and why some people still took it as a big deal even without real gameplay. Naslov 1, a GTA trailer isn't usually gameplay footage. Rockstar doesn't really do those classic HUD-on, mission start, shooting, driving, aim breakdowns until later. Trailer 1 for them is usually vibe, world, tone, characters, setting, scale. It's basically, trust us, it exists, marketing. So you're right to say it didn't prove much mechanically. Nudra 2, even without gameplay, it did show a lot of engine swirl stuff. Even if it's cutscene heavy, Rockstar's trailers often include in-engine camera work, scripted world moments, animated NPC behavior. So people weren't just watching explosions and dramatic zooms, they were watching stuff like crowd density, lighting quality, character animations,
Right.
details in traffic, pedestrians, world feels alive stuff. But yeah, that still isn't gameplay, it's closer to environment flex. 3. It confirmed what kind of GTA game it's going to be. Even if it didn't reveal new mechanics, it did confirm. Modern Vice City, Florida-style setting. Lucio's
guess.
antagonist, social media culture being part of the world, a more
But
grounded
when
crime couple tone rather than wacky Saints Row. But again, you're right. None of that is mind-blowing info anymore, because leaks plus rumors already told us most of it. Number 4, your point about we already knew this is why people are frustrated. A lot of fans wanted something like driving physics shown clearly, combat shown clearly, how police AI works, how the open world actually interacts with you, what's new besides bigger plus prettier.
Yeah.
And Rockstar basically said, open quote, here's the idea of GTA 6, we'll talk details later, close quote. So it can feel like a hype trailer rather than a substance trailer.
Right.
Now 5, the reason people still freaked out is simple. Even a cutscene heavy GTA trailer is treated like a global event because Rockstar almost never speaks. So the reaction wasn't just this looks good, it was more like this confirms GTA 6 is real, it's close-ish, and Rockstar hasn't lost their touch visually. My honest take, you're justified to be skeptical. Until we get extended gameplay, real mechanics, breakdown, a mission walkthrough, unedited HUD-style footage, everything is still marketing. And Rockstar is the king of marketing trailers that look insane. If you want, I can tell you what I think the biggest actually meaningful clues from the trailer were. Stuff that might affect gameplay, versus what was just cinematic fluff.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Now, before I continue, let me also say that the reason why the stuff that was happening before that I haven't told you like definitively, you know, I've told you, but you have to connect the dots. So if you haven't figured it out, it is currently what is being used, so to speak, at the moment. So, if certain things don't look the best, gee, I wonder why. Okay, so let me continue here, and we'll talk a little bit about this. But I think, again, it's sort of agreeing with me here. You know, like it tried to say that we got a good trailer or whatever, and I'm like, excuse you, we got no good trailer. Don't give me that. We didn't get we didn't get a good trailer. That wasn't a good trailer. That was an excuse for. No, we didn't get anything. Nothing. We got nothing. There's nothing that good that we got. And I was the person kind of saying already, like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I sort of, like, I liked 4 a lot. And 5 felt really rushed. It just they sort of pumped that out. And it was good. But I barely enjoyed 4, and they pumped 5 out. And now 5 has just been out for so long. So, I don't know. I'm at a point where I feel like with Rockstar, when I bought Red Dead Redemption 2 almost at release, and it has never worked, and they never fixed it, and I've basically never been able to play it. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say, and there's, that game was pretty classically filled with glitches, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, this company's looking like a pretty much a pile of garbage lately. And yeah, I mean, we got all this hype, all this hype, all this hype. Like, the whole point is that they're building like cash grabs and stuff off of like just advertising and stuff. Like, it's not like it'll never live up to its expectations at this point. And I mean, especially knowing what engine this is being built on. Especially knowing that. What phenomenal, brilliant, great engine this is being built on. So yeah, I don't know. With sequels, my point is, you need to be, there needs to be a calling for it. And I just feel like they've continually just always said, well, yeah, there's gonna be another, yeah, there's gonna be another, yeah, there's gonna be another. And then, you know, continuously repackaged the old ones and resold them as, quite frankly, really, really bad remasters at times. And look, when you're doing this to, you know, like a new generation that never played this, you know, like we did growing up, where maybe we grew up with it, and it was like, you know, you always played the first and second one, and they were always sort of broken and they didn't really work very well, and the third one was just, again, it was like going from Fallout 1, 2, or Tactics to 3. It was exactly like that. It was like taking a game that was top down, that was very, you know, two-dimensional, arcade like, and adding that, you know, that very three-dimensional, that very, you know, third person or first person feel, where you're the character now. And now it's expected. Now everybody just goes, oh, I expect these things. I expect this, and I expect that, and I expect this, and I expect that. So then you wonder why, like, somebody like me that can sit there and enjoy, like, a roguelike that is just something with pixel graphics and stuff like that, because my expectation isn't, yeah, you know, I didn't sit there for years getting promised there's going to be all these things and stuff like that. Nope, I just looked at the game and it's pixel graphics and it says roguelike. Cool. You know? And, you know, there's maybe some familiar classes and some mechanics that I resonate with. Cool. You know? That's not like a... And again, the whole point is nobody asked. They have to make it good. And that, like, so, like, if you want a game to come out and it's going to stand on its own 2 feet as its own thing, it better be something like Cyberpunk. It better be something like that. Where there's, like, yeah, it's certainly like that genre. It's certainly like GTA, but it's its own thing. Like, there's really nothing else like that. And it would be really, really hard to make something like, even like that now, that's that complicated without then just copying what they did with that. So, again, that's what GTA, that's what Rockstar should have done. Rockstar should have taken that to that next level. Where they're like, well, let's go cyberpunk with it. You know, I mean, like that was a genre before Cyberpunk 2077 was a thing, you know? And so they should have just embraced the fact that people wanted future and neon and stuff like that, you know? It's not about... You have to understand, it's not about how much more crap can we add. The point is, how can you do this different? How does it stand on its own? How is it not 3, 4, 5? How is it not all of that already? Because we've had that. I mean, how many times are we regurgitating 3? Are we just regurgitating that story? And now we're putting Vice City stuff back in, and can we do something else? Yeah, don't forget those too. We had Vice City with San Andreas. There's been quite a number of games. They pumped those out. Can we focus on something different? And no, we can't. You are all going to be massively disappointed because all you're going to get is exactly what you expected, but less. Because it's not going to live up to your expectations. It's going to be like 30, 40 FPS. It's definitely not going to be as good as Cyberpunk was when it released. Yeah, it's going to feel like the Fast and the Furious of video games. That's what it's going to feel like. It's going to feel like that. It's going to feel like the Fast and the Furious of video games. That's exactly what it's going to feel like. It's going to promise all these things. And we got really cool cars. We got some really decent actors in this movie. But we're not gonna make a script that is good. You know, that's believable, that's... No. Nope. We're gonna make a very, very predictable one that's really dumb. And people are gonna love it. But not the people that care about, you know, movies and stuff like that. It's just gonna be a bunch of airheads. So then you double down and you make 5 or 6 more, and it just gets worse and worse, and then you double down, so you have to put more of this crap in. More people that, you know, aren't necessarily the best of actors or anything like that, but just draw the types of crowd of the demographic that you've drawn to these types of movies, because it's gone to that instead of what it should be. Good. Because let's not forget, Tokyo Drift, the B movie, that was awesome because it was awesome and stood on its own 2 feet. It had nothing to do with the franchise. They just did it. Total B movie when people were just pumping movies out. And they actually just rose to the plate and decided to make a good movie. That's it. They didn't try to do anything that the other ones did. They just tried to make it fit into the lore in a way that would make sense to do justice of the original. And damn, did they revive that franchise. It's the only reason they were able to even do 4. So, the whole point was, well, how did they do that? Because they did it different. They Tokyo drifted that shit. And they did it with Han, who was different than the usual character than they had. Dude was cool as shit. he wasn't you know, The Rock or something like that, you know. He was just cool. He was a believable character. I mean, the point is he's relatable for a lot more people, and he's believable. So, you want to know my honest opinion? You should have doubled down like Fallout did. Everybody said 76 was, yeah, it had a rough start, but look where it ended up. Should have doubled down. They know what they had. And accepted the fact that you're not going to have a main character, you're going to do a customization character. Like, yes, there's going to be a main story. There's got to be a main story, right? But this 2-character thing, this is throwing everybody off. It's causing this. And it's coming around this whole time that the culture's like sort of like that. So you got to have a main character for both the guy and the girl. Do what you would normally do. To get around this, do what you would normally do. Do the main character that you want to do. Whether it be girl or guy. I'm sure there's an idea there somewhere. It's probably, let's be honest, it probably is the woman. Because you've done the guy a million times. So it probably is the woman. Do whatever you want to do. That's the main character. Don't do 2. Now, do also an option where you can customize your main character. A second option where you can choose customizations or you can go with the original main character. What's wrong with that? How is that not workable? That's very workable. That's extraordinarily workable. You don't even have to worry about dialogue and stuff like that. Oh, they want to name their character? Screw that. They don't need to name it. Customize it. You get to customize your character. That's it. If it's female, it's still whatever the name is. Guy, still whatever the name is. Or, you know, if you figure out some genius way to do it with AI voice interpretation, fine, do it. I don't care. But there's workarounds. I just think that you have to think about, again, that original idea that you had, instead of trying to do what we obviously can see is pandering to this, you know, this whole what's safe to do anymore without getting canceled, you know, and stuff like that. Oh, come on, that's what it is. Come on, that's what it is. Come on, we know it. And so you got to be understanding from their side of things too. That's probably why, you know. And so just go again, like I said, with your original idea, but then you can say, Well, you can customize it. We gave you the ability to customize it. But you'll still have, like, again, for, like, basic advertising and stuff like that, there's a main character. I mean, y'all acting like games haven't done this before. They've done this before. And you can just customize it anyway. Should I just gone with, like, again, some sort of really interesting perspective? Something you haven't done before. You know what would be really, really cool? GTA in a different country. You know, sort of like how they're doing it with, like Horizon 6, by the way, is coming out. Looks freaking awesome. Sort of how, like, they do this big, huge maps in Horizon 4, 5, and 6 now as well. You could do that with GTA. It would be hard to do. You could do that. You could do it, man. Why not? It just takes listening to that criticism and being willing to not try to play the safe card. You know, to be willing to, because I think that's what it is. But when you're a big company like Rockstar, that's actually when you can do that. Because it has more to do, when you're a company like Rockstar, it has more to do with knowing you have a good idea and then just being able to sell it. Being able to know your advertising is good enough. That's what that takes. Now, if your idea is executed very well, then you're good. If the idea is executed poorly, obviously we know who's to blame there, but then you deal with that. But again, good idea, good follow through. What's left? Advertising? Yeah, selling it. Knowing your demographic. Physical copies of stuff did this very well. It's a lot harder when we don't have physical things anymore. How does somebody feel rewarded? So now you have to properly reward the player for time put in. Because if you're not doing that, you know, like now it's totally different. Like, if you're not doing that, but you're still charging top dollar for a game that's completely digital, like, seriously, like, the consumer's gonna feel like we're kind of like, where do you kind of get off, you know, like the you know, like, where do you think you get the idea that that's a fair, you know what I mean? To a consumer, it's not. Of course not. So, when we're talking about something like GTA, and again, you let's say you want to do this in another country or something like that. I mean, heck, that would probably do really well. I would think. I know that's part of why Assassin's Creed kind of did what it was able to do as well, because different time periods gave that game the ability to have different open areas instead of, it feeling like the same sort of kind of concept. I just feel like if you're not gonna do something like Cyberpunk is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And I'm pretty sure CD Projekt Red has an answer to it as well. Like, it's not done. I'm pretty sure, like, there's something else coming. Like, why wouldn't there be? It's just taking, I think it's just taking some time. They're not sure about, the market right now is a little bit strange, with some things that are going on, But, I'm pretty sure that they don't necessarily plan on going anywhere. So, when it's almost undeniable that they've already done it better. When it's almost you can't. It'd be really hard to deny and argue that they've already done it better. Story-wise, no. I mean, let's be honest. The story was pretty good in Cyberpunk, but now, 5 had some good, like, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I'll admit, they don't do a bad job with that. So, that's kind of I think that everybody's still a little concerned a little bit, you know what I mean? With how this feels presented. One second. Yeah, just think, again, everybody's, with how this is presented to us, this way, just people are concerned. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So let me tell you what I said. We've talked about this before, but here's what I said. I think a huge problem with the gaming industry today is the fact that there is seemingly so many problems with porting, and Microsoft isn't really doing much about it. That and the fact that everyone wants to use the Unreal Engine, and this makes files really large. Someone needs to address the problem with DirectX and Windows Framework, and they aren't. So that's what I just typed into the AI here. Let's hear the response.
Yeah, I actually think you're pointing at the real core issue behind why so many PC releases feel messy now. And it's not just lazy devs. It's a pile-up of technical debt plus modern engine complexity, PC platform fragmentation, and Microsoft could be doing more to make the Windows gaming stack smoother. Let me break down what's happening in a way that matches what you're getting at.
Yeah.
No one, porting is worse now because games are way more complex. Ports used to be about make it run on different hardware. Now it's streaming massive worlds from disk constantly, shader compilation for thousands of materials, real-time lighting systems, Lumen-like tech, massive animation systems, CPU-heavy NPC simulation, higher dependence on driver behavior.
Yeah.
So PC ports break easier because games are basically real-time operating systems at this point. Number 2, Unreal Engine is both a blessing and a curse. You're 100% right that everyone using Unreal is part of the problem. Why devs love it? Fast development, huge talent pool, built-in tools for lighting, networking, physics, etc. Cross-platform support, AAA visuals without building an engine from scratch. Why players suffer? Shader compilation stutter is extremely common. Traversal stutter happens even on powerful rigs, inconsistent performance across systems, bloated installs, duplicate content plus huge packaged assets. Unreal is not bad, but Unreal games tend to share the same weaknesses, and the PC version often exposes them the most. Number 3, file sizes are exploding for multiple reasons, not just Unreal. Unreal contributes, but the real causes are 4K plus textures everywhere.
Yeah.
Even if you play at 1080p, many games ship the same ultra-high-res texture packs.
Yep.
Audio is huge.
Yep.
Uncompressed or high bitrate audio in multiple languages can eat tens of GB.
Yep.
Or unique assets. Open-world games don't reuse as many props, materials, etc. as older games. Less aggressive compression. Sometimes devs choose faster loading over maximum compression, especially on console-first pipelines. So yeah, games being 150, 250 gigabytes is becoming normal, and it's ridiculous.
It is.
4. DirectX isn't broken, but the experience around it kind of is. This is where your argument about Microsoft hits hardest. DirectX 12 gives devs way more control, but also way more ways to screw things up.
Right.
In simple terms, DX11 equals safer, more standardized.
Exactly.
Driver handles more stuff. DX12 equals more power, more responsibility on devs. So a bad DX12 implementation can run worse than DX11, even though it's newer. And Microsoft doesn't really enforce performance quality.
DirectX 11 was
the
great.
API, tools and guidelines, but the reality is, the game boots equals, it ships. It stutters constantly, still ships it. Compiles shaders during gameplay, still ships. Number 5. Shader stutter is the #1 thing people blame ports for. This is one of the biggest reasons players say PC gaming is broken. A lot of games compile shaders on first launch, after updates, during gameplay, worst case, which causes hitching while moving through the world, huge spikes in frame time, my FPS is high but it feels awful. And Unreal games are infamous for it. The crazy part is, it's solvable. Pre-compile, cache properly, pipeline optimization.
I've told you that. Yeah.
Number 6, Windows is flexible.
Sure.
And that flexibility is a problem. PC is open, which is great, but it also means devs must account for 20 plus years of mixed drivers and hardware behavior.
Yep.
Tons of background processes, overlays, Steam, Discord, GeForce Experience, etc. Different storage setups, weird controller audio setups, users running unstable XMP overclocks. This causes random crashes people blame on ports. Console equals one target PC equals infinite targets. 7. Microsoft could do more, but it's not obvious what they'll sacrifice. You're basically saying Windows gaming needs stronger standards and enforcement, and I agree.
Yeah.
But enforcing that means trade-offs like stricter certification, slower releases, fewer early access hotfix later launches, more control over driver behavior, maybe even limiting how games access low-level features. Microsoft traditionally doesn't want to be Apple-like with control on Windows. But the cost is, the end-user experience is inconsistent. Number 8. The PC gaming industry is shipping unfinished optimization more than ever. This is the elephant in the room.
Yep.
Publishers keep launching games like, we'll patch performance later, DLSS FSR will carry us, brute force it with higher requirements. Optimization is becoming optional, and that's why you see insane CPU usage, traversal stutter, awful 1% lows, VRAM overload, micro stutters even at 100 plus FPS.
Yep.
If someone actually fixed this, what would need to happen? In my opinion, and probably yours too, the solutions are Microsoft-side improvements, stronger DX12 tooling and enforcement standards, easier pipeline for shader caching and compilation best practices, better OS-level scheduling for games, especially CPU-heavy ones,
Framework.
tighter integration for storage streaming tech, less hands-off attitude, engine-side improvements, UE especially, better default shader compilation pipeline,
There it
better
is.
asset streaming defaults,
That one.
less bloated packaging, better compression workflows, better built-in diagnostics for stutter sources,
I'll
developer-side standards,
add a
no
little bit.
last-minute PC porting crunch, proper performance QA on mid-range systems, stable frame pacing prioritized, not just average FPS. Real talk, PC gaming is still amazing, but it's in a weird era where hardware is getting stronger, but experiences are getting less stable. And it's exactly because the pipeline is becoming too dependent on engines doing everything, devs shipping good enough, and the OS being tolerant rather than strict.
Yeah.
If you want, I can go one layer deeper and explain why shader compilation stutter happens, why it's so bad in Unreal specifically, and why it's still a problem even on NASA-level PCs.
Even on NASA level PCs. So, let me explain this as best I can. Think about caching like this. Have you ever played a game that was like it's a management style game, like a top-down RTS, but it's more like management based, and you have like a lot of people, and you have to manage them and how much they carry and stuff like that. I like to think about caching like that. And the more times that a file is transported from where it starts to where it needs to go in your system, the more times data can be corrupted within that travel. Does that make sense? It's sort of like if the person in that colony takes longer to carry the logs or something like that, they lose stamina and drop some or something like that. And so you have to create shorter routes for them so that way that doesn't happen. That's how I like to think about it. And if you have enormous texture file sizes that you don't optimize, think about what the system has to do with that. And why those crashes happen, where people think it's like bad porting and stuff like that. Like it said, they think it's bad porting. It's bad optimization, which is what people mean these days anymore. Is pretty much what it boils down to. Because pretty much, yeah, that's what we're dealing with. So, anything that bottlenecks that system. Anything. Yeah, those are your memory leaks. That's what it is. Those are memory leaks, those are crashes, those are blue screens. That's what it is. And it just can't, it's so much. And it's not that it can't do it. It's that nobody's fixed these problems that we've just talked about, where they're just getting, like it's saying, the 4K texture, the 4K texture file sizes, in addition to sometimes audio and stuff. You know, all that stuff. I like what it said there. And that's a really important take of what Windows needs in its framework. And what I've been trying to draw attention to is the OS being tolerant rather than strict. There's absolutely no reason. You know, I've talked about how much room it has while I've been streaming and stuff like that. The whole point is there's absolutely no reason why it can't allocate the 1 to 2% more of the stream software is using when those things happen. So what is somebody doing with code that they know how to make that happen, and Microsoft's not fixing that? The point is, clearly these people are listening to what I'm saying and trolling the very thing I'm saying and causing it to happen and stuff like that. And yeah, just showing how terribly exposed Microsoft really is, and these systems really are. And yeah, it really is sometimes as simple as unupdating something. And man, it's already bad. But now you unupdate it. Now you can gain appreciation. It's already bad. It's already slow. Slower than it should be. What does slow do as far as security is concerned? Come on, we all know. Remember, the whole point is. Remember, the whole point is they want to take that processing speed. They want to take that stuff from you, but they can't on a slow system, right? Yeah, and it would always slow it down. So the whole point is it's been perfected. Somebody has perfected this. Right, you're seeing it right in front of you all the time. Because again, there's no other excuse. There's no other reason. Of course, they can design the thing to just use a couple of % more here and there. Why? And again, there are other people that know these things, clearly. They're agreeing with me. So, what? Huh? I think it's interesting the NASA level thing it mentions there. One has to ask if truly this might be one of those things where the technology is being kept behind on purpose. If that makes sense to you. Because there's been so many instances of people like, you know, like hacking the the feds and stuff like that. You have to wonder, especially with the current state of things, if I don't know. I feel like for sure that the current one would definitely do that, and not say anything either, and kind of say the opposite, make you think the opposite. I think that's a pretty for sure thing that he would do something like that, and again, all under the guise that that's it's happened before. I mean, we've had these hackers do this before, so we have to keep them behind. Oh, I'll be willing to bet. I'm not saying it's a definitive, but it's a pretty probable, real, credible, good reason why. Again, I think it's interesting it mentioned even NASA there. Yeah. Yes, exactly. This is touching exactly on, and I don't really necessarily want to repeat this at the moment. This is touching exactly on what the scammers are doing to me. Like what it's saying here. This is exactly what they're exposing. This is exactly what they're doing. And yeah, that is the point. If more of them know about it, it's gonna just get worse and worse. And I think that's what's happening. I think that things are just under attack. Just generally speaking. Like there's a lot of wars going on. A lot of countries are doing this. Counterterrorism thing. Because in their country, they're going to call it counterterrorism towards us. That's all they're going to call it. So, just saying. Yeah. I don't... Yeah, like, this is exactly... So, basically, I said, tell me why it's a problem on NASA-level PCs. And, yeah. Yeah. Exactly the stuff that I've been talking about that's been going on with basically how they're able to do what they're doing here to mine. It's that stuff. Stuff that, again, that's why I've been warning against it, because it's stuff that even geniuses and smart geniuses, seriously, any smart person, any regular person would just excuse it as, oh, we'll just replace this or fix it, and it's fine. Now you have to, if you don't recognize that a person's doing this regularly, they're just going to sit here and break everything. And do so in the most destructive manner possible. So... Just saying. And a lot of people have been having these problems too. Like, it's only been getting worse. Where we should have fixed these things. So, yeah. I'm not gonna but it's for sure it's just what we've been dealing with. It's as basic as understanding that they can make a pattern if they know what you have, if they know every schematic, every little thing, if it's leaked to them, they can create a pattern to flaw the system that makes it seem like it's broken. Something broke. They can do that. So I don't. That's all I'll say. I don't want to say specifically, but that it's sort of like that, and so it's about, again, making sure that whatever you have there and you're using there and stuff like that, stop regularly letting the public know. Like, start being a little bit more secretive about stuff like that. Yeah, just everything is on the internet, everything. Everything. Always on. Wireless signals. I mean, it's bad. So. If even for a second any of that sounded like it could be remotely, you know what I mean? There's a really good chance that you should probably just, consider what I'm saying to be absolutely true. That, let's be honest, most people really don't know that much about technology anymore. And the gap between the people that do and the people that don't is becoming only bigger. Because as people age and the technology becomes so great, AI does everything for them. Everything's so instant, they can just look it up on the internet. They don't have to learn how to use this and know how it works. That's not true. So, as I've stated previously, with lots of examples, but certainly my experience in life with building computers and growing up with others that did that too. I spent a lot of time around people that did that too, and I learned a lot, obviously from that experience, and so, I've talked to a lot of people and dealt with a lot of people. Even aside from that, I just ended up meeting a lot of people that were into that, of course, being into that myself, and it was very, 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 very common. Very common. 9 out of 10. I feel like not even 8 out of 10. 9 out of 10. You know, I would have to get another 10 more people to equal the one person that I knew that understood the truth about certain things with PCs and computers, and we're willing to accept it. It was always a denial thing. So, and yeah, it's about them like trying to champion this product that they want to believe is the best, you know, and you know, because it's theirs, you know, they want it to be the best, you know, and stuff like that, and they want to truly believe that and whatnot. So I think that's what it comes from. I think. I will say though that 9 out of 10 truthfully did not know and were willing to accept factual information about computers if I was like giving them new information, and it's very clearly facts that like things that I just have come to accept from doing this from experience, and I'm trying to help this person and they won't accept it, and it's like, okay. And truthfully, it's about 9 out of 10. It's that many where you really will find one person. One. And even then, it takes a bit of convincing a lot of times. So, and truthfully, the 9 out of 10 people will claim hands down that they know so much about technology and PCs, and they know everything. You know, it's like politics. It's almost like politics or with that. Were they really? It's almost like they want to be helpful to that friend or something like that, and they're like trying to talk all this stuff, and other people don't know anything about it, so they just make some stuff up, and they sound like they know what they're talking about or something like that. You know, it's almost like that. No, that's what it's been. There's been a couple of times where I would overhear something, and I'm like, it's not exactly what that means or what it's for, but I'll keep to myself and just let them, you know. So again, I just knowing that's been my experience in life, and even on this platform for the most part, you know, even as I've actually come in contact with people that seemingly professional people, still just don't know much about, you know, the stuff, and might think they do. Truthfully, they might think they do. They might think, and you know, there's no necessarily degree that they have that tells them this or anything. They just think they know enough, you know. But that's the problem is they're really not basing it on that other information where they could have, you know, gotten that or something like that, and anyway, the point is, to those, you know, that were curious about the NASA thing, and I really, really, really want you to understand that the whole point is understand the importance of politicians not knowing how technology works. The importance of that. That is really important to understand. That again, and probably a good portion of the rest of the world knows that too. Putin sure knows that. So I'm just putting that out there. I wasn't trying to be necessarily too political here, but you know, I mean, let's be honest. You know, There's times where other countries attack your games and they get upset that you can play a game they can't play or something. I mean, we know this. We know this. So it's fair and warranted in this conversation, and goes along with the whole tech thing. Just really want to reiterate that has absolutely been my experience. That I think it's, again, even just I feel like it happens in like fields with like engineering too. Like not like just other tech fields in general. Like, like mechanics and stuff like that. I feel like this can happen in that field too. Like, I just feel like it can happen in like these really skilled fields where people can just, because they got a piece of paper or whatever, really just, think they know everything and then not be willing to absorb the new information. You know what I mean? Like, I already know that, that sort of thing, I mean, it's one thing if somebody goes, if somebody like kind of hilariously goes, I know, I know, and then they start doing it like right now, like that's one thing, okay? Like, it's one thing if somebody corrects it and like tries to pretend like they knew or something like that. It's another completely when they don't even correct it, and then they're just like, no, that's not the case and stuff. And it's like, come on, this is just factual information. You can prove it, figure it out. So anyway, that's probably enough for now. I just wanted to talk for a bit. We had some good subjects, but I do. There's even a lot of people I've met that are hackers or coders and stuff like that, like that might have advanced coding knowledge, and they don't know a huge portion of things about certain things in tech and stuff like that. Like, I mean, like, it doesn't, just because somebody does, like, has an advanced knowledge in a field doesn't necessarily mean that they know everything about that field. It means they know that thing because they're doing that thing. And it doesn't mean they're stupid or anything. It's just, I really hope they're not that person that is trying to claim that they do know everything and is not receiving new information when somebody's giving it to them, because that is a stupid person. Because then they're not receiving the new information. They're just remaining the same. It's not meant to be an insult. It's literally to try to tell you, no, you're not. You didn't learn anything. You accepted the original information you originally learned because for whatever reason you accepted it. I don't even know why. But the whole point is you have to be willing to accept things from people that you might not even like. It's because, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna get political. I'm not gonna get political. But there's some stuff, regardless of how you feel about the situation. I don't love the situation that's happening and stuff like that. But legally speaking, I mean, there's things both ways. You could say both ways. So we could talk all day about that, okay? But that's the whole point. Is you have to be willing to be unbiased about what you're saying, and most people aren't willing to do that. I think they can't. I think that's part of that problem. Is when they learn something new. I think it has to do with if they're receiving it from somebody that they in their mind perceive as somebody being part of that group where they can receive information. I really think it's what it's come down to lately. It's unfortunate that it's come down to that, but everything has been politicized, and it shouldn't be political, but it is, that sort of thing. So don't be an American idiot, because that's pretty much what it means. Basically, the whole point is that really quick, the whole point behind that is like, the only true stereotype is the one that you live up to. Don't create a stereotype and then do that thing. You know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to laugh at that. Like, hey, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I guess it is like that sometimes. That's pretty funny. But it's just funny. Like, it's not real. It's just supposed to be funny. So why are all Americans living up to every stereotype, like, ever? Why? God. Because, they're not very smart? So, take that, take that and try to learn from it. Like, that's the whole point. You should be able to not be affected by the things people say. That's what you gotta learn. There it is. I knew we would eventually start making those likes come down. That was the whole purpose. So if you watch the likes, I knew we would eventually start making the likes come off. So that was the whole purpose. Here we go. Hold on. Oh, yes. Good. Good. Yes. And now they're messing with the stream health, too. Good. I'm glad. See, look, we were able to make that happen. I knew that was coming. Guys, we were too positive. We were too positive. We were too caring and too positive in here for YouTube, or to handle, and they're just removing all the likes now and all the trending that we had because we're just we're just trying to help people receive new information and learn how to be respectful and receive new information. And again, I'm stupid too. Like, all the time. We all need to accept that we're, as Americans, pretty stupid. And we look that way to the rest of the world. Okay. Oh yeah, and especially considering the fact that we have all these game companies, pumping out trash, promising the world, pumping out trash. So remember that too. That's a factor too. A lot of the good games, From Software, they're a Japanese company. Yeah, From Software. All these other companies, Koei Tecmo, all these good companies that produce good games, they're Japanese companies. And all the American Rockstar is right. Bethesda's been sucking lately too. ID Software is phenomenal. Love them. Blizzard sucks. They got bought by Microsoft. Suck. So again, everything's been sucking from us. So what do you expect? Even our movies have been sucking lately. I think I was watching I forget what I was watching. I was watching something with some foreign, like they were speaking a different language. I forget where I was watching it, but like I was reading what they were saying, and they were talking to each other about how it was on YouTube. I feel like it might have even been Electric Callboy. I feel like I was watching a behind the scenes or something. I don't know. Somebody was like, I saw an American movie recently, and they're like, oh yeah, which one? I forget which one they said, and they're like, yeah, and it wasn't very good. It was, and he started laughing really hard. And he's like, yeah, it's the new one with The Rock in it, and it wasn't very good, and just. Yeah, that's how it seems, isn't it? Like, just the new one with The Rock. And it's not very good. Why is he in every movie and then it sucks? Now, I really want to remind you guys, Black Adam didn't suck. I know, I'm going to get off here soon. Black Adam didn't suck. That was actually good, and Henry Cavill was great for that franchise, and Pierce Brosnan was in Black Adam too. He was excellent, but Black Adam was phenomenal. I will stand by that. That was a phenomenal movie. They could have easily kept going with that shit instead of giving James Gunn everything, because god damn it. Listen, I won't sit here and I won't say that the movie's terrible, because the new Superman movie was not terrible. It's not terrible. It's really not. It's really not. But what's really annoying is the amount of times that James Gunn completely disregarded basic things about Superman and about the comics. Basic things. So, first of all, again, number one, and I know I've said this before, but you've had plenty of time to see the movie, okay? First of all, I don't care what version of Superman this is. He is not strong enough to defy the strength of a black hole. The dude flew out of a black hole. No. Nope. He can't defy. Every ounce of that black hole is pulling everything in. No. Nope. He would be dismantled molecularly at the crest. He wouldn't have flown out of that thing. Ridiculous. You could have done that scene better. You can have him fly out of it, but you gotta do the scene proper. You gotta explain it better and actually do it properly. You didn't think about it long enough. You're just like, how do we do this and make it funny and make it dirt. James Gunn, Superman. Duh. How do we do this scene with style? Da. Choo choo. Choo choo. Choo choo. James Gunn. Choo 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 choo. James Gunn. Choo choo. Yeah. That's how it felt. The whole movie. That's how it felt. James Gunn! Choo choo! Big giant alien! Choo choo! Yeah! Nathan Fillion has this stupid bowl cut, and it works because he's awesome, and he's an awesome actor, and he pulls it off because he's a fucking awesome actor, and so did everybody else because they're awesome actors. But James Gunn, yeah, James Gunn. Yeah, we gotta make sure that the suit doesn't fit the guy. Yeah, and we gotta make sure that, again, he fits the role well. Oh yeah, no, trust me, he does. He is very, very good in the role. He is. I will give him that. He is extremely good in the role. But James Gunn, yeah, he's gonna screw it all up and direct it really bad. Yeah, and you're gonna hate it. Because it's James Gunn, and it could have been better, but James Gunn, you gotta remember this, because, you know, it's gotta be style, you know, just like the new Supergirl movie. She's gotta be wearing this long trench coat and stuff in all the advertising for it, because James Gunn, and she's gotta have like the bubble gum coming out of James Gunn. Why does he do that? Why? Why is everything... Why is he trying to be Quentin Tarantino? This is what he's doing. He's trying to be the Marvel Quentin Tarantino, except he's not in Marvel anymore. He's in DC now. That's what he's doing. Yeah, he's using music and he's trying to be all clever with his... Listen, I like the guy too. I think he's pretty good. But he needs to pull his head that is firmly placed up his own ass. He needs to pull it right out of there. Because that's where his head is. It's right up there. So again, I'll actually stick up for the movie because I don't think it was that bad. It really wasn't that bad, but could it have been a lot better? Fuck yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. The ending was stupid as shit. It was so dumb. And then, again, there's that scene where he flies out of the black hole. Could have done it different. And he had such cool characters too. And this is like starting that universe. This is like the pinpoint where it starts that universe, right? All these characters and stuff. It just didn't do that. Didn't do it. You fucked it up. You did. You screwed it up. Because you didn't have Marvel looking over your shoulder like when you did the first Guardians movie and they kind of made you do certain things a certain way and didn't let you go, yeah, James Gunn, James Gunn. You know it. You know it. So, you know, I mean, again, the guy is a good Superman. He is. He is really good. Nobody, you're not gonna beat Henry Cavill. So anybody comparing him, they're not the same. They're two different. He does own the role though. I think he owns it really well. But that... he has just an iconic look about him. He does. He has an iconic look about him. And if you make him look like a joke, everyone's gonna... You can't do that to him. You know, he has to own it. And if you remember, that was the one thing that Cavill had to do. Remember? The whole point was this was how they did their audition. They had a bunch of people come out wearing the one he wore in Man of Steel. And remember they did the audition. The whole point was that they couldn't laugh. They couldn't look ridiculous. Basically, that was passing that initial audition was that they had a bunch of people just wear it and come out. And if everybody laughed at them and they looked ridiculous, nope. He's gotta own it. So the whole point is when you the guy owned the role. He fucking nailed it. Good for you. Your director didn't. Nah, he made you look like a fucking clown. So I'm just I promise you guys. And the guy that played Luther, brilliant. Did a great job. I thought for the most part the cast was brilliant. Direction? Fuck no. I don't know where the hell you're going with this shit. It's just shit. Coolest part of the whole movie was the two parts you saw in the trailer. The cool part where he saves the girl and, you know, like he like protects her head and stuff like that. So cool, because the idea is like that's the realism of it, is a lot of times in the old movies they would act like he wouldn't need to do that and stuff like that. That was so cool that they added that. And then the part where he spins around and stuff like that. And I mean you saw it in the trailer. I mean there's other parts too, but it didn't really escalate that much. Really, like So obviously the characters were cool, and then you didn't expand enough. Like the movie wasn't big enough. It just didn't do it. And then you had this really interesting. Yeah. You obviously had this really interesting. I loved the dog. Like obviously that was my favorite. That was my favorite part, was the dog. And that was a lot of people's favorite part too, probably. That was probably the best part, was the dog. But come on, man, the best part of your movie is the CGI? You can do better than that. You can do better than that. Cast was great. Cast nailed it. The cast nailed it. They did. Anybody that's trying to throw shade on the actor that played Superman, you're a fool. Again, and I think other fans of the series would agree. He didn't do anything. He did nothing except nail that role. He nailed it. So, you can't, it's just a different, it wasn't Cavill's version. This is a different one. Yeah, this is the quirky, funny, upbeat, you know, it's not the dark, the dark one. It's not. It's just a different one, that's all. But, you know, again, they had to sell those costumes a bit, and they didn't. The costumes were ridiculous. That's like all of them, like every last one, ridiculous. Not just him. All of them are ridiculous. So, you cannot, the guy doesn't, he can't be, you know, leaping tall buildings in a single bound faster than a speeding bullet and all that. He can't be the Man of Steel and be a clown. He's got to own it. And you made him a clown. And again, it wasn't the actor that did that. The actor didn't do that. Oh, hell no. No, the guy did... I don't know about an Oscar or anything. I mean, like, come on, the role was what it was, but he nailed it. I think he did beyond exemplary work. You know, like, it was the sort of thing where he really tried to get it right. I could see that. I tried to notice that, and I was really looking for that in that one, because Christopher Reeve, the whole point is that what Christopher Reeve did with that role was beyond exceptional. So anybody after that needs to do what needs to do that justice, I think. Otherwise they're not living up to the standard, that's all. And Cavill did. And I think this guy did to the degree that he needed to for his version. I think that. I truthfully do. I just think he didn't get... Again, the costumes are ridiculous. What else can I say? I mean, the internet agreed with me. The internet agreed with me. But I held my tongue on the movie. I wasn't one of the ones sitting here trying to, crap on it and stuff before I saw it. I wanted to see it first. And, yeah, like, it wasn't terrible. It really wasn't. And there are some glaring problems. There are, truthfully. But it still wasn't terrible. James Gunn doesn't do terrible movies. He really doesn't. But he does James Gunn them. He does. He James Gunns the heck out of them. Because he's James Gunn, yeah! They gotta have style, and they can't just be good. Don't stop that. You can't, if you do that with that, it's absurd already. The concept of a Superman, like, you have to sell this in a way that people can't make it a mockery of it. Come on, man, it's absurd already. That's why Man of Steel, nothing can hold a candle to that. You had such a good backstory. You had that dark tone throughout that reminded you of what it would actually be like to actually have those abilities and stuff. It's not what you think. The whole point is everybody would want your help, and you wouldn't want to be this, you wouldn't want to be a monster or anything. Like, you would want to help people, and like, that's the whole point. You would feel a call to it, and just to get all that all the time. I think they did such a good job of telling that story and showing that, and the whole point is of the end of Man of Steel is the idea is that he was conflicted the whole time. The idea is that he didn't do that until that last moment. Spoilers. The idea is he didn't do that until that last moment. He didn't end Zod, per se, until he knew there was going to be more, like, destruction that was, like, imminent to people. Like, it was, like, the whole point where he was trying to get the control of the situation. It was obvious he was trying not to just end the last of his people. Because that was it. Zod was it. They were it. And they visited. So the whole point was you were supposed to rationalize, well, he wanted to talk to him. He wanted to try to smooth things over. Maybe just get him out of here. Maybe even go with him. But, like, that was the point. Was that... Then they... you know, just started fighting on the ship. The ship crashed, yada, yada, yada. One thing led to another. The whole point was that they were just in the middle of that big, you know, massive thing that happened in the middle of, you know, Gotham Metropolis. And then at the end of it, right, you know, the whole point was that, you know, he's about to laser these people. And so the whole point is he's like, don't do it. And the whole point is he was going to do it so that he would let him go. You know? And it's like, no, don't do it. You know? It's like, if you do that, I'm going to have to, you know, like, that's the whole point. So the whole point was that was the genius moment that you realized he was our Superman. That was why that was applause. Because it was all leading up to his decision to help mankind. You know, the endless battle that he would have to be a monster to not. And that was what the movie was about. He even saw a priest about it. Remember, he was sitting in the church? It was awesome. And then, like, the whole point was right at that last moment, he's, like, about to laser the people, and he's like, don't do it. Don't do it. And as soon as he realizes he's about to do it, just boom. He ends him. That's it. And then Zod just goes thump. Just boom, just snaps the neck and just boom. And then he just belts out the yell. See, that's the whole point. He felt that. He had to choose to do that. The whole point was he didn't want to. He's a very good person. He doesn't want to harm people. So, like, this is really hard for him to do. He's always resisted. He was taught to resist this. He doesn't want to harm anyone. And so once he finally has to, he's just like, ah, you know? He's always protected people. You know, that whole building shit? Well, no, he's in the middle of a brawl. Zod threw him through a building. He didn't fly through it on purpose. He got thrown through the thing. That's the whole point. And the point of the follow-up was a little bit absurd. But I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the concept that Bruce Wayne was just old, out of the game, and irritated and directing his hate at the Man of Steel. I actually didn't hate that as a narrative. I thought that the movie was just really slow. That's all. The pacing was terrible. They could have done the thing at the end. Why'd you say that name? I thought it was a good idea, but all you had to do was do it a little different. If you'd done it slightly different, it would have been a million times better. All you had to do was just do it a little bit different, that's all. If they had done Doomsday a little bit more closely to the comics, it wouldn't have ticked people off, too. I wasn't ticked off by that, but I can understand. But ultimately, I didn't, ultimately I was fairly happy with, the idea of that. But then Justice League. Listen, it could have been so good. You had such a good idea. Anyway. I guess I'll just get off here. I don't really have any last minute. I just, like, figured I would, since I started talking on that anyway, I figured I would complete my thought on the whole James Gunn thing. I like the guy. And I liked Guardians, and I liked Guardians Volume 2. I thought 3 was good as well. I liked 3. Here's my thing though. Can we finally get have we seen, maybe we've seen more of it and I need to get caught up. Adam Warlock. I loved that Adam Warlock. He was like probably the best part of it. I loved him. I thought he was phenomenal. That is like outstanding Adam Warlock. You don't doesn't get any better than that. I actually have no idea. It's profoundly good. I truly believe he's profoundly good at playing that role. So if you didn't see Guardians Volume 3, I would highly recommend it. Very, very good. And Adam Warlock, holy cow, was he good. So I really hope that that's a character we... And I would think so, knowing where they're going with the story and stuff like that. He's pretty important to some things coming up, I believe. So I would think that he does come into play, but who knows? Who knows what they're gonna do with it. So anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I just figured I would talk for a bit, and I did. So this is a stream where I talk. So thanks for watching, guys.